Good morning, everyone. It's me again. Trust everyone's having a good day. Go ahead and jump right into the devotion. I'm going to share my screen, I think. Different computer. Sometimes different computer, same results for me. It's usually not good. Kind of want to echo on, of course, we're talking about the message from Sunday. Kind of bittersweet. The last of the Joseph and the secret to success, and greatly enjoyed that. But sweet to the fact to see what God's got in store for us next. But I have greatly enjoyed those, and I know a lot of people have as well. But I kind of want to piggyback on what Brother Jody talked about on Monday when he was talking about, or Tuesday, sorry, on the Genesis 50:20. And untitled today's is Stepping Stones. And, in Genesis 50 and 20, Joseph, after had gone back and they had buried his dad, and his brothers were kind of concerned that maybe that he was going to be, seek some revenge against them. But he tells them, he says, "But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it into good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive." And when we look at that, and I put these stepping stones on here, and one of the things that I've kind of, and of course have studied and read the story of Joseph many times, but throughout this series, and we look at all the events that Joseph has dealt with from early on, it's kind of hard to put a finger on him to see if was he an arrogant, kind of know-it-all little kid, or what was his deal there at the beginning? Telling the dreams, the coat of many colors, and we see the favor of God even early on. And then the fact that he goes, and just seemed to always be a victim of his brothers and their jealousy, a victim of Potiphar's wife and her false accusations, victim of the, the baker and the butler there in the prison with him. They had forgot him as well. And it's so easy to look at each one of those events and, look at those as stepping stones. And they truly were. But the thing we got to look at is, what direction was he stepping? And I think we all go through things in life, and sometimes it might be things in which people mean for evil. But when we turn those over to God and we allow God to deal with those things, good can come out of that. And so what direction are we stepping? And with Joseph, in each of those situations, but God was with him, and then this is, as the pastor said, this is one of those biblical buts, and I think it's something in our life that we deal with, we live in a world that's full of evil, and, we live in a world in which, people are out to get us as, individuals, maybe because of positions or titles we might hold. People are out to get us because of the fact that we're Christians. Maybe it's the people's out to get us for, being a Christian, church we're involved in, whatever it might be, circle of friends we have, or whatever else. The people anymore don't really need much of a reason to want to do evil, but even in that, if we allow God to work in each of those steps, from early age, Joseph, he had justifiably, at a lot of these times, he probably could have, grown bitter, questioned God, in those circumstances. But had he done that, or had he bailed out at any point in time when life was hard, when he was in the pit, when he was in the prison, or whatever else, he would have never made it to the palace. But because of what he went through, and because of in each situation that he dealt with, I think was a stepping stone. And he trusts that, from those dreams that he had as a young child, as a young man, And when he told his brothers those things, I think that Joseph held on to those, and he believed that God's favor was on him. And so each of these things in his life, he used as a building block, to grow. And it's the same thing as the steps. You look at steps and they're going to either be going up or steps be going down in our life. Which direction are we going? Are we climbing the steps and we using these hurdles in life as a stepping stone to move closer up to God and God's will for our life? Or are we using them to, poor pitiful me, I get knocked down and we take steps backwards. And I think that's a lesson that we can all learn from Joseph. I know it's one that, God's brought to my attention the past several weeks. Sometimes makes you scratch your head and say, how much could this, young man have to deal with? But he stayed faithful, all the slaps in the face and all the, things that he had to deal with. He turned them over and he allowed God to work in them. And he was patient. Whether it was sitting in prison for a couple years or whatever. It took him a long time to get to the palace. But once he got there, he was truly able to say this. And I think the same as us is true for us as well. That when we keep our faith and trust in God, the evil and the things that come our way that sometimes we question, and why God, and, why do we have to go through this, or why do we have to deal with this? And sometimes it's that stepping stone to move us up, and that God's going to bring good out of it. So I trust today that you will hold on, that no matter what it is you're going through, sickness, family, whatever, whatever it is you're dealing with, the day-to-day things of life, seek God's direction and handle things the way that God would have you to handle them. And as a result, when we do that, God's going to bring good out of it. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you real soon. Have a great day.